Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the Lords of Lag Episode 2 podcast. My name is Peplaw. I will be keeping us on track. I am joined by my two good friends, Jared, aka Demon's Gaze.
Hello again.
And Brett, aka Cuckles.
Hello.
And he has a brand new mic, so he's all happy and
Creepy.
What? I can't
Creepy.
play with my new toy.
Well,
Keep that to ourselves.
that sounded... We could have taken that in a couple...
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so we're going to stop talking about possible sexual innuendo and move on to our first topic, which is Xbox One going preloading. And it's exactly, there's not much to say there. Madden 15 will be the first game you can preload on Xbox One. This is already on PC, obviously, and PlayStation 4. Preloading is downloading the game like a week before it comes out, a couple days before it comes out, and it's just locked until midnight of the release night. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to wait for it to install. You can do it all beforehand. Very convenient.
So, very similar to the system on Steam, where if you pre-purchase the game, you can download it the day early and then be able to play
Yes.
it. Okay.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same thing. I'm almost positive PlayStation 4 already has something very similar, if not the exact same.
Yeah.
And my question to you guys is, since we all have Xbox Ones, will anybody be switching over to digital?
I'm not going digital just because I like physical copies of discs. I've just always been that way. I like sometimes getting digital games for certain stuff, so it depends on the game for me if I'm going to do it. It does make it handy though, not having to wait for release day when everybody's trying to download it. And it's not going to work because the servers are just going to be overloaded. So it'll be handy, but I'm not going digital.
Well, I'm pretty sure they said you can download it like a week early, not just a day or two.
Well, I know with Madden, it's through EA Access that you also get the pre-download, and that's 5 days before
That's already
release.
out. Yeah.
So
Madden
that's
comes out
when it
Tuesday.
starts.
For me, at least on the Xbox One, because on the PC,
Obviously,
digital's the
digital.
only way, really. But for the Xbox One, I don't really think so, because I have a ton of digital games on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One already, but I'm not entirely a fan of doing that kind of stuff day one. Like, the only game I bought without, seeking out a retail first copy was Watch Dogs, because I kind of just broke down and bought Watch Dogs. Terrible decision on my part, but
It's debatable.
Debatable. But we're not going to get into that. But
No, we're not.
I can see how this is a value to people who really want their games, like to people who really only play the Xbox One, and are those hardcore kind of, I want to play this game when it comes out, and I do not want to wait. And
Cough, me.
Yeah, and if I can pre-install this game so the second it goes live I can play it.
Cough, me.
Yeah. For me, for the Xbox games, I can wait to go to a store to get it in box if I really want the game. Like, a bunch of the games I already have pre-planned up for the rest of the year, I've got pre-orders in store already for them. So I'm not going to switch to the Xbox download just because. And already, even though the Xbox One comes with 500 gigabyte hard drive, you preload enough games on there, that's going to go away really fast.
Well, it's already... You have to install them anyway. It's the same exact size.
I think if you get the entire game, it'd be slightly different.
I'm pretty sure it's the exact same. But
I prefer, as far as I know, it's the same size.
Well, even though you install them, you still need the disc to run them. So the disc has got to be used for something.
yeah, you need the disc to make sure it's verified that you have it. But if you get it online and do the pre-downloading, then you never need the disc, which I think is really convenient, and especially with today's age, with Xbox One being very digital, and with all the voice commands and all that.
I guess it just comes down to, if that's true, that it just downloads the entire game to your system through the install anyway, I find that completely defeats the purpose of discs, and I'd rather have the game on the disc than on the console.
The only thing I see that could be bad about this are pre-order bonuses, like stuff you would get at GameStop or Best Buy, because I've never seen a digital pre-order bonus on Xbox
They
ever.
could totally do it.
I know they could, but I don't think they've done it yet. But
I
I
see.
It's
For me, I
because they
see.
haven't really gone with the digital pre-order stuff. Like Xbox is finally caught up to everyone else and is like, okay, we're gonna do digital pre-orders on our console. Are they going to export the hell out of that? Yes. You can probably guess that they're going to be like, yeah, Xbox only pre-order DLC. Get it free if you pre-order through Xbox, otherwise you have to buy it, suckers.
well,
For
that's the thing
me,
with a lot of games that have already been announced, like Destiny, for example. Destiny has like pre-order bonuses at like 4 different stores. It's ridiculous, but so would anyone want to? Plus, a lot of people probably already have that pre-ordered. I don't think I have anything pre-ordered yet except Destiny.
a lot
Well,
of people, a lot of people put those pre-orders up like that just to build sales at their place, and a lot of times it's not a lot that's being added with those pre-order bonuses.
no,
But
pretty much every pre-order bonus is like, and here's a little costume thing. They're all
Yeah, that's true.
novelty little bullshit things. And the only reason to care about pre-orders is if you really like those novelty things. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter.
Well, that plus for me, I don't know about you guys, but I have like 50,000 reward credits at GameStop, and I kind of want to keep growing that for in case I ever get something really big that I would want.
yeah, I kind of spent all mine. But
Plus,
uh,
I like having the disc. That
Yeah,
might just be because I've been playing since NES and
yeah,
N64
I
days, but I just like having the cartridge back then. But I like having the actual physical copy.
I like
it,
having the disc too. I like it for collecting purposes. That being said,
Exactly.
like the most amount of games I have are on my computer, and it's like 100 something games in my Steam library where it's not an actual disc or anything. But like I like seeing when I can, I like seeing the disc on the shelf. I like having it there so I know I have the game. Because my issue with digital is like if something happens to like my console or some or like something that corrupts it and I, you know, lose it or they take this download servers down eventually for the game, I'm going to lose it. I'm not going to have that game anymore because it's like you can't download it anymore. It's like
That's true, but that's something you got to worry about on Steam too.
that is something I have to worry about on Steam too, but like Steam, I mean, that's kind of the risk you have to take. It's all digital. It's only digital.
that's his only option with that.
Do you think that the console gaming market will end up like in 10 years or so, like Steam, where it's almost all digital? I think it very well could, especially with internet connections getting better.
It could, but it's not if they're going to keep charging digital games the exact same price as physical games, because that doesn't make any sense.
That's true. Yeah, Xbox has a major problem with pricing their digital games. That's a very big problem for them, but
I mean,
I'm
like,
very intrigued by this.
yeah, I mean, Watch Dogs and like Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on Xbox One, still $60. Why
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
$60? The only
there's some even worse 360
yeah,
games.
Oh yeah,
it's like why is that still that price? And like Steam like marks everything down like $10 immediately because like it's not paying for the disc. Like part of the cost of making the game is paying for the disc to be manufactured. When you take that out, the price goes down, or
Right.
it should.
to be
It
fair, the
should.
disc and the casing should only cost like 50 cents. But
But when you
yeah,
mass produce it enough, I mean,
Plus sending it to retailers.
that's
yeah.
true.
There's the
And
shipping. That's
and
big.
I think another thing that's going to keep me kind of off the digital thing is that I have a download cap, a daily download cap for my internet. It's a pretty high one, but it's just something I don't want to have to hit mid-download and then have my internet just completely tank for the rest of the day because
Well,
of
yeah,
it.
that's another thing we have to worry about with the whole
Well, that's based off of your
online
internet
thing.
server provider, and like that's your ISP stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, Xbox and like Steam and stuff. They can't control that. That's really on the consumer themselves.
I mean, that's what's going to keep me kind of more towards the disc, personally. Plus, like Peplaw said, I am that old school. I like having the disc. I like being able to see my collection. And I'm a very orderly person. All of my cases are alphabetical right now. So,
all of this being said, I think Master Chief Collection will actually be the first game I do this for, since I won't feel as obligated, like, collector-wise, since I already have Halo 2 and 3, and those are the only ones I care about. But I already have those 2 games, and I would want to play that right away. It's a pain for me to walk all the way down to my car, drive all the way to GameStop, all the way back with 6 classes a day. That's just annoying.
Hashtag first world problems.
Yeah, I know. That sounded kind of bad. Anyway,
I already, poor you. And you go outside. No, for me, I already have half the game paid off at GameStop. I'm not going to switch my pre-order. Plus, I think even if I worked that day, I think I get off at midnight anyway.
I'm such a Halo 3 fanboy. I'm gonna want to play that at midnight right away.
Yeah, it's like overall, this Xbox thing, it's a nice feature. I'm glad they finally.
It's something that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally caught up to Steam and potentially PlayStation, even though we haven't exactly fact checked if they already have it yet or not.
No, they do. They do.
But
it says in the article.
It's glad they finally caught up. GG Microsoft, one step behind as usual.
All right, next topic was something we should have covered last week. This was one of the bigger topics that was covered at Gamescom. Another Microsoft topic. It's Rise of the Tomb Raider. They announced it as an Xbox exclusive at the press conference, which was a shock to everybody.
But that
they didn't
wasn't
really
true, was it?
Well, it was kind of true. What they didn't say, it's a timed exclusive, which means Microsoft will get it first, and then other companies will have the right to buy it. So I would guess Microsoft would only have it for like 6 months to a year, if that.
Yeah, and Microsoft did not really feel like they needed to say that it was
not during the conference. They said it right afterwards.
After being pride to say it. I mean, like...
Yeah, they were getting a lot of hate.
During the conference, they're like, it's a fucking exclusive. Only here, motherfuckers. And then, like... everybody started freaking out, like all of the PlayStation and PC fans of Tomb Raider. That was helpful. All of them were like, "What the heck? What? You're just gonna cut off your like 2/3 of your player base? What the hell?"
Especially with PS4 selling a lot more than Xbox.
Yeah, and so people, rightly so, flipped the hell out.
Yeah.
And
it was pretty bad.
And it was only after like they had to be poked and prodded, and Microsoft was finally like, well, it's not a full exclusive, it's a timed exclusive. And I read comments from a Microsoft PR rep that was like, we didn't have to tell you it was a timed exclusive. Why would we want to tell you it was a timed exclusive? We want you to buy it on our thing. And it's like,
yeah, I'm surprised they actually did come out and say it is a timed exclusive, but I guess they were getting so much hate.
They were getting
probably kind of forced. Yeah,
and to be fair, Microsoft's not the first people to do this. Sony's done this with other things before.
I don't know about.
I remember
actually, yeah. With what's that new game coming out that where you go to all the planets, all the randomly generated planet? No, with the space dinosaurs and No Man's Sky.
And I think, they said that was.
They said that's an exclusive,
PS4, and it's a timed exclusive as well. So I mean, it's a thing companies use. Technically, they don't necessarily have to say it's timed exclusive. I mean, this is coming from a sales point of view. You don't want to say it's timed exclusive because then, I'll just wait for it to come to my system. If you say exclusive because it is exclusive for a certain amount of time.
It's like, do you consider a lie not telling the whole truth?
It's a white lie. Is it the right thing to do? No, absolutely not. But it's what happens.
The difference between this and No Man's Sky, though, is that's a new IP, unless it's a really old IP that's getting revived. I'm pretty sure it's a new IP, though, isn't it?
I thought it was being revived. I can look into that.
Well, either way, it's a newer game, so
Sky
that makes more
IP.
sense.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense. Tomb Raider has been around for years and years and years, and it's always been multi-platform.
But, like,
So,
the new reboot you can kind of consider a new thing, but the new reboot was also multi-platform.
yeah, exactly. Everything has been multi-platform, almost all of it.
Right.
And I'm not a big fan of Tomb Raider, so it doesn't bother me at all. But Xbox did need, and Phil Spencer says this, and Phil Spencer can do no wrong by me. I love Phil Spencer. And he said, this is a genre which we are getting outclassed by in action-adventure by games like Uncharted and Last of Us. We don't have anything for our system, so we wanted to get something we already know is going to be great, like Tomb Raider. When I read that, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't exactly understand why Square Enix accepted. They must be getting a ton of money.
No.
Payoff.
What I looked into this a bit, and what I read was that it wasn't specifically Microsoft going to them saying we want you. It was more Square Enix was having issues. I think it was with funding or something to get it done. So I think Square Enix approached Microsoft saying, hey, could you fund this a little bit and we'll work out a deal to that. And so it was more Square Enix going to Microsoft, because why Microsoft would single them out kind of doesn't make sense in a way. I mean, why throw so much money in something that will eventually be a third-party game? Because it was never going to be only Microsoft. That's
Right.
no.
And I can't remember Microsoft ever having a exclusive action-adventure game.
Well,
I mean, they've had plenty of them. None of them have been very good. There's
None of them
Alan
big
Wake.
That went to PC though as well, so
that
I don't
went
know if
third
that's-
party after a long while.
Oh, well, that was
I
a time
mean,
exclusive too, then.
BioShock was an original for Xbox only, I think, and then after like a year it went to PlayStation.
I went to PC first.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't remember any like actual series that were just
Action
Xbox.
adventure.
Well,
Like
the era of exclusive games is kind of dying, really.
because why would you want to sell to one console when you can sell to three
Everyone.
different things and make
Like
triple the money?
The only companies that are going to be still producing exclusive to their console games are
Or in-house.
yeah, in-house, like Microsoft Studios or Sony, whatever.
Naughty Dog and
Studios.
343.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are
I guess Naughty
both
Dog.
still, and they're not owned. They're technically not owned, but they kind of are.
Yeah, I was trying to think if Naughty Dog actually had any third parties, but they don't have third parties. So yeah. But like those companies that are like exclusively funded by Microsoft and Sony, that's what's going to be exclusive. Everything else is almost always going to be third party.
Right. I think it makes sense, and I think Microsoft is going to hype the shit out of this game whenever it gets closer to coming out. Like, I think it'll get like almost as much hype as Titanfall did. And I think that's another big reason why Square Enix would want to do it. That'll help them. They'll advertise it a lot more than just being able to them. That kind of relates back to the funding.
When you
as
got
well.
you got one of the biggest companies in the world hyping your game, it's a little better than just a developer doing it. Even with the name of the developer being Square Enix, it helps.
All right, let's move on. Let's get off Microsoft because they're a good thing
Jump
to talk
on
about
EA
because
again.
yeah. Well, that's later. That's later. Next, we have Nintendo, possibly. We have an announcement that was made. Pokemon Company announced an announcement that will be coming this week as you're watching this. It'll be this week. It might already have happened by now, but as of this recording, they haven't announced anything other than they've announced the announcement of a stunning new Pokemon project. That's all they really said. And this got people super excited. I don't think people should be very excited because it doesn't even necessarily mean video game. Like, I see everyone like, oh, Wii U Pokemon game, oh my god, or Pokemon Stadium 3, oh my god. And I'm like, probably not gonna happen, though that would be great. I think we can all agree on that. That would entice me to buy a Wii U instantly.
Still don't.
I think Pokemon's one of the weird franchises that hasn't really broken into the consoles very much. And
The actual home consoles, no.
Yeah, but like
The handheld, they dominate.
they dominate like with their core games on handheld, but everything they send to console is like Pokemon Stadium or that kind of stuff. That's not exactly
There was Rumble and Coliseum and Stadium
and
and Snap.
those aren't exactly Pokemon games. They're parts of Pokemon games.
Yeah.
But
They're still Pokemon games. They're just not RPG Pokemon games.
they're not core Pokemon games. They're
Coliseum
like,
kind of was.
kind of, but you didn't have the whole aspect of actually like wandering around and catching whatever Pokemon you wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I would be excited for is a Wii U 3D Pokemon game, and just take what worked on the handheld and translate it to the console without too much change. I mean, the handheld ones are already going full 3D, so
Yeah. And that second screen would be pretty nice. It'd be like playing on a 3DS.
Well, yeah, you
But-
could have like the stats of the battle on that and choose your attacks. It would be interesting for online, being able to battle like that and not have all the menus pop up on screen. And it's all just on the little
Yeah,
tablet.
3DS Online is still pretty terrible. I don't know how good Wii U is. I don't have one. I can't speak on that. But knowing Nintendo, I'm sure it's not that great yet. But
I'm sure it's better than the Wii, but
I would hope so. But the thing is, for me, I immediately think, oh, Pokemon Wii U game, sure. But they just said stunning new Pokemon project. That doesn't even have to mean video game. Something I would like to see is remember Pokemon Origins? I would love to see them make a series based on Pokemon Origins. I think that would be fantastic.
yeah, I think Origins.
Did you guys watch
really,
Pokemon Origins?
I think Origins
I
worked
still haven't.
as the short. It was because
It was great.
Like when you really think about it, Pokemon Origins would just kind of be a slightly more serious retread of everything that the Pokemon anime has already been doing.
Right, and it's weird for them to announce something like this. The reason I don't think it's a video game is because I don't think they would announce something like this outside of E3 and with their game coming up in November and Omega Ruby. And I don't think this is going to be video game related. I really don't.
This isn't even an announcement. It's an announcement that an announcement
Yes.
will happen.
on the
Yeah.
26th.
So
We're just sitting here playing the guessing game. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with video games.
I think it's going to be a game because I don't think Nintendo plays by its own rules. It doesn't
That's true.
care about conforming to we need to only talk about it during the big old conference whatever's. It's like
Well, actually, I kind of disagree because Nintendo is by far the best company at keeping secrets until E3. Because Microsoft and Sony, we already knew just about everything during those conferences. Other than Sony had Uncharted and Xbox had Crackdown. No one knew those were coming. But other than that, we pretty much knew everything that was coming out of those two conferences because it all got leaked.
Uncharted was kind of, I don't know if that one necessarily leaked, but it was pretty much expected to be there.
Well, yeah,
Like,
people knew
everyone
it was
knew
coming
it was-
eventually, but there was no like, ooh, here sources say Uncharted will be announced. That never happened.
People were predicting what Nintendo would come out too. They were like saying there's going to be a new Star Fox game. There was a new
Yeah.
Star Fox game.
No, I'm
There's
not
gonna be
saying
a new
predicting
Zelda.
though. I'm saying like those articles that'll like on IGN or Kotaku or Game Informer that say like sources say that this is going to be revealed. Like they're trying to make it sound like a sure thing, not like what we're doing on a podcast saying, oh, maybe this will happen.
That's probably because Microsoft and Sony purposefully leak. They purposefully leak all the time.
That's true.
It's a marketing
Battlefield's a great
strategy.
example of
It's
that.
a marketing strategy they use a lot.
Nintendo never does that.
Because Nintendo doesn't feel it has to. Again,
And
Nintendo
Nintendo
plays
is
by
a
its own
much more
rules.
closed door company than Microsoft or Sony.
Yeah.
Very much more closed door.
Yeah, they're not big on.
But yeah, it'll be
Outsiders.
interesting to see what this Pokemon announcement is. Can we really say what it's going to be now? No, we can only predict. So we'll see whenever it happens.
I don't think it's going to be video game related, unfortunately. I hope it is. I hope I'm wrong.
I would
hope-
want it to be video game related because if
I would.
it's if it's like if it's like a Pokemon anime thing, then great. If it's card game related,
Movie.
then whatever. If it's
Well, they already announced the Pokemon trading card game. I didn't have that listed. We could talk about that real quick though.
well, that's an iOS game or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have an
Pokemon-
iPad, so it doesn't matter.
I don't have an iPad either, so
Is it
cool.
iPad or is it iOS in general? Does it go on the phones too? I think it goes on both.
I think it goes on both, but all it is okay, the Pokemon trading card game now in phone form. Great, cool, whatever.
Well, I think that's kind of big just because Nintendo's been talking about going mobile for years now, and if they're actually doing it, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but they're doing it. It's a slow start, and it's
Yeah, it's an old game.
It's very neat.
But
I don't have any personal investment in it, so
no, I don't either. It's free. I'll check it out, but I think it should be all right. But new Pokemon project announcement of an announcement. By the time you're hearing this, it probably was already announced. So,
August
yay.
26th is when the announcement
We'll be able
goes
to
live.
talk about it next week.
Yes, we will talk
when it
about
shows
it.
up.
Unless it's something really stupid like action figures or something.
We'll bring
but,
it up for 2 seconds if it's something really stupid.
Yeah. Be like, remember the Pokemon thing? It's shit. Moving on. Okay, so next up, I have a rant actually I want to talk about. Not our rant, a rant that someone else made. This is from puppygames.net. You can go look it up if you want. Just Google puppy games. I'm sure it'll be one of the top results, but
There'll
very
be a
long
link
article.
in the description.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, fancy. Very long article. I don't blame you if you don't want to read the entire thing, but it's basically indie developers going off on PR, on gamers in general. A quote they said out of here is, firstly, gamers aren't nice people. Yes, you are not a nice person. That's, I don't know what they're trying to prove there, but it's kind of true, but that's a whole nother topic. And they go on to talk about how all the problems with PR, especially around indie games, and how they really don't value the customer at all, since all their games only cost $1. Losing a couple customers really isn't a big deal to them. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this article.
It just feels to me that article's a general attack on all gamers, even though that's not what all gamers act like.
It is kind of and everybody knows that the loudest people are the minority. Everybody, if you see people bitching about stuff on Twitter, it's not what the majority thinks, but...
Well, sometimes it is, but yeah, a lot of the times you're right. A lot of the times it is the
95% of the time, it's the minority.
And they say that in the article.
Yeah.
I don't understand the purpose of them doing this, other than them just being really, really frustrated.
Well, yeah,
which
people are
I
mad on the
guess
internet
they
all
are.
the time.
Yeah, including them, apparently.
Yeah.
But
I also feel like it's
not.
not... I know, it doesn't work. But I also feel that, if you're going to complain about it, you bought the game, and especially indie developer, you paid, like you said, like $1, maybe $5. It's $5. Are you really that lost? If it was $60, then you have a reason to be mad. $20, you probably even have a reason to be mad. But if it's $1 or $5, you
like
took the risk on it.
microtransaction worthy.
Well,
Yeah,
there's that, but there are a bunch of like indie developers, especially on like Steam Greenlight, that are just generally being assholes. Like when people are buying their game and leaving them negative reviews and being like, this game is bullshit and stupid, the indie developer on Steam Greenlight will just straight up remove their comments from the forum and like super censorship it and be like complete assholes. And it's like, no, nobody's going to like you when you act like that. Take your criticism. Like there's a recent thing that happened with Jim Sterling, if you know who that is. He is a game reviewer on theescapist.com, and he posted a video to his YouTube channel about that was just like making fun of the trailer for an indie game called Island Light or something along those terms. I'll have a link to that story in the description, but basically he was just making fun of the trailer. And this guy who made the indie game tried to copyright strike his YouTube to get the video taken down, and they went through this whole big legal thing. And Jim Sterling eventually won because the guy was just being a total ass about everything, censoring people and doing this.
There's been a lot of stories like that. A lot of the
nasty
YouTubers
bullshit.
have that problem.
And it's like, okay, you're making an indie game, and yes, you feel really close to it, but you're not being helping by completely being a jackass. I mean, like, those people deserve it. When you're being a complete jackass to your customers who are willing to buy your indie game and, you know, buy into your idea, if they don't like it, they don't like it. You censoring them and just being a general jackass to the people you're trying to get to buy your game, like, that's not kosher. I mean, you're not being a good human being in general that way.
Yeah, they're complaining about people that complain about their games, but all they're doing is complaining, so it's just a huge
it turns into a clusterfuck of bullshit.
Yeah. It is an interesting article, though. I recommend it. So.
And I do agree with him that gamers are typically not nice people.
Gamers are. Anyone who has that, anyone who can be anonymous. Excuse me.
Basically,
I don't do words good. I don't do words good, but yeah.
Because you can post whatever you want, and you know,
it can be completely invisible unless your gamer tag your last name, like me. But
how you brought that out into the public?
All three people.
Yeah, all four of us, including us three who are gonna watch.
Watch this get picked up. We're listened to by hundreds of people now. You're screwed.
Send me a friend request. Go ahead.
It'll be listened to by tens of people in 3 years. Okay.
Tens of people.
all the tens.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. I have an NHL topic here, so Brett might not be the best person to discuss this, but me and Jared love NHL games.
I'll chime in if I have an opinion.
All right, so NHL 15, it's coming out pretty soon. I think in a month or two. No, I think it's less than a month, but it's coming out very soon. It's the first NHL game on next gen, if we can still call it that. I think we can. It's the first NHL game on next gen, and it's still going to the previous gens as well, obviously, because EA. And they recently announced 2 game modes, online team play, and the custom player.
Seasons.
Yeah. EA SHL, I think it's called, will not be coming to the next gen version. Online team play will, but in a later update. And that always scares me because Trials Fusion said multiplayer will be coming in a later update, and that hasn't happened yet. But 2 main fan favorite game modes will not be making it to the next gen systems. They'll be on the 360 and PS3 versions, just not the next gen versions. And this has people infuriated. What do you think about it, Jared?
Kind of made the decision easy about NHL 15, and now I'm not getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
I
was on the fence about it, but it's online team play, which is where you can, instead of playing 1-on-1, you can play 5-on-5, and you each control one player.
Mm-hmm.
And EA SHL is pretty much the same thing, except you use a custom player that you progressively grow and grow and grow and keep growing. Like, more games you play, more XP you get.
And you can do it with friends. You can do drop-in games. It was amazingly fun.
It was really good.
It's been probably their biggest thing since it introduced in 09.
And that's going to be on the pad. That's going to be on the NHL, the 360 version, though?
The 360 and PS3, but not the Xbox One and PS4 versions. It will not come at all.
Well, that just doesn't make sense, and it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's very stupid. They should lower the game to $40 since we're not getting a full game, to be honest.
Yeah, those are honestly probably the 2 biggest things that everybody looks forward to with each NHL.
Yeah, Ultimate Team's not as popular in NHL as it is in FIFA and Madden.
Like, the only reason I can really see them withholding that is, like, maybe it's not working properly, or they're going to chop it up to be DLC.
Well, they already said that online team play is going to be DLC. It's going to come at a later time.
It'll be a free update, though.
But they said
But
EA
Seasons
SHL
is
is
not
not
coming.
coming.
Which, that just means I'm playing NHL 14 for another year. Don't have an issue because then I can get to Legend 3 easier, but
I mean, I was on the fence about buying it, and then once I heard about EA Access, I'm pretty sure I'm going to subscribe to that in the next couple of days. But
Oh,
as soon as that got announced,
I actually found a different point about EA Access, which is
All right.
kind of ties in. But
Go ahead.
when EA Access comes out, it's going to lock all the playable demos of their games behind the EA Access paywall. So you can't even play the demos of the games that are in EA Access anymore. So anyone without, subscribing
demos
to
aren't a
that
big
can't
thing
try.
anyway.
They
a lot
aren't.
of demos never even release.
Well,
yeah, demos have kind of died away at this point.
Yeah.
Well, demos are a good kind of test, and I use demos a lot. And they haven't really died away, and you just see a lot less people making demos for whatever reason.
Demos can now be classified as full games.
That's kind of what it is. With the EA Access, the 5 days early, you're limited to 6 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, it is. It's a demo.
It's a full game,
But you
but
have
it
to
is
pay.
a
only get
demo.
But
6
you have to
hours.
be paying EA Access. That means anyone who's not paying EA Access
Right.
that wants to demo the game can't.
I mean,
So-
what EA games would you want to demo anyway? You kind of know what you're getting for the most part.
I'm just saying, it's a thing that gets locked. Like EA Access is going to lock everything behind their paywall.
I don't see that as a big deal. I mean, go look at the demos on 360 or Xbox One. Most big games don't even have demos.
And now demos come out after the games,
Yeah.
like 6 months or so after the game
Yeah, the
comes
Call of
out.
Duty demos always come out like 6 months afterwards. I don't understand why, but I don't understand why they need one anyway.
Because for
They
those
do.
games, they're like, okay, we want to release our game. We want to make sure everyone plays. Like, everyone who's going to want to play the game or play the game, they're like, buy it now. It's like, oh, okay, everyone who we know is going to buy it immediately is bought immediately. Let's throw out that demo to try and reel in anybody who's on the fence.
But at the same time, most of the demos are single player only. And if you're really that much on the fence, I guarantee you know somebody that's got that game. Like, hey, can I come over and play that for a couple
remember
hours?
Bad Company 2 demo?
I just see
Yeah.
value in demos. I like demos. I like playing the demo to get a quick taste, regardless if it's multiplayer or single player.
I used to like playing demos. I used to download like every demo that came out, but then I just got sick of it because a lot of them are pretty bad. I mean, there's barely any content, and if I do enjoy it, it just makes it that much worse because I'm pretty much already set on what games I want. I figure that out very early in advance to help budget accordingly. And if I play a demo that I really like, I get kind of upset.
And I think demos have kind of died away to
Yeah, they
betas
have.
at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Most games are now releasing betas.
Beta is
Because
just a
they
new
help.
form of demo.
But they
is.
also help the developer a little more than just the demo.
It's just an early demo. It's like EA Access.
And I'm still not enamored by EA Access. But
I am, but bringing this back to the NHL thing.
Screw you, NHL.
Yeah, I don't. They're just asking for hate doing that. I mean, I'm sure they would normally just delay the game, but you can't delay these sports games. Those are like the one games you cannot delay. That and probably Call of Duty because Activision would throw a fit, but you can't delay a sports game. It can't happen.
And I don't understand because the thing that when they announced it, they said we're still committed to these two things. Like if you were committed, you would have dropped something else to put that in.
Yeah, they put NHL Live moments in, which
is useless.
Yeah, no one plays NHL Live moments. It's for those of you who don't know what it is just something that happened in the actual NHL. Like let's say someone scores
Last season.
Let's say someone scored 2 third period goals. It will go back and say scored 2 third period goals in 5 minutes with this team. That's all it is. They kept that over the 2 loved game modes, which I don't. They really should drop it to $40. I don't think they will, but they kind of owe us.
Yeah, that was a major blow, and like I said, I'm not getting it at this point.
No, I'm not either.
I don't see a reason to if I'm not going to... I always love being able to build up a character, build up the skills and everything. And at that point, I have nothing to do in that game. So,
All right.
it's a no-go.
Moving on. Next topic. We have a PS4 thing now. It was said, PS4 representatives came out and said that, they don't know who's buying their consoles. Jared can talk about this more. Jared's the one who wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, I found this, and I thought it was very interesting. Sony has already passed the 10 million mark for PS4 sales, which is freaking incredible.
Ridiculous.
That it's been less than a year, and they've already hit the 10 million. That's
Blinked on
much
metric.
higher. They said they wanted to ship 7 million by the end of the first year of sales, and they've surpassed that by far. But the interesting thing is, they're happy they got the 10 million sales. They're scared to death because they don't know how to market this at this point. They don't know who's buying their consoles, so they don't know how to market to the people that don't have it. And the other thing is, now that there's already 10 million out there, they're worried, what does this say for the future? Who's left to sell to at this point? Because I don't even remember, I don't think PS3 sold that much more than maybe 40 million. So
PS3 is at 56 last time I saw.
Is it? Okay, so
I looked it
it's
up before this.
Alright, so yeah, then, I mean,
It's going to easily outsell PS3 in like 3
It'll
or 4 years.
I doubt
It'll
they're
outsell,
completely unaware. They have. They
Oh, I'm
probably
sure they're
have
not
an
completely,
idea, but
well, they
It
say
does-
that we don't completely understand what's happening, so...
yeah, it does kind of put them in a weird position. It's like they're selling a lot more than they expected, which, you know, good for them, I guess. None of us have bought into the PS4, mostly for me at least, because I see no value in it.
I don't even.
Yeah.
I get consoles based on exclusives, and Sony just doesn't have it for me.
Well, hell, Xbox doesn't really have it yet either. But
They have it more than Sony.
I'll take Titanfall over...
Yeah.
What was that one? I don't remember.
Killzone.
Killzone. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah. There's we could get into an exclusive war whenever. But
Yeah,
I think
but
Microsoft wins that war every time. If you're not an FPS fan, though, you probably would side with Sony.
But I mean, we know a lot of people switched from Xbox to PlayStation after the terrible announcement.
Many people switched because Matrix's a freaking retard.
Yeah, Matrix killed
Good
Microsoft.
Lord.
because the
Rip in
starting
peace.
gun went off on the next generation consoles thing, and Microsoft tripped and fell on its face.
Yeah.
And shot itself in the foot at the same time.
Yeah.
And
It
Phil
was-
Spencer's been fixing that wound.
Yeah,
doing
he's
really
been the
well.
ER doctor.
And it's been a slow process, but Xbox is doing it. But PlayStation has been thriving ever since then. They haven't slowed down at all.
PlayStation
And-
started off running, realized Microsoft slipped, and just went to an easy walk through the rest of it.
Shit, they've
Yeah,
still
it's
been
easy.
sprinting at this point.
They don't even have to do anything. Like, Xbox
don't.
has been updating their system like crazy, and it's a better console than PS4, I think, at this point, with all the updates that it's made. But it's too late.
Yeah, it's playing
I mean-
catch up to something that already started with all of that shit.
It's something that already won. That's
well,
the problem.
no, Xbox has a lot more than PS4 now with all these updates, but PS4 still has the whole graphic debate, which I don't think is a huge thing at all. But
We'll actually hit on that.
the
graphics are going to start not mattering here. In a
Oh yeah,
while.
we have that as the last topic, so we'll talk about that then. But the main thing when you buy a console is price and what are your friends playing? Because if your friends all have PlayStation 4s, which a lot of people do because they all switch, why would you get an Xbox One when you could play with all your friends on the other one? So I think it's a little too late for Microsoft to catch up. But we're rambling about things.
Yeah,
PS4
but-
sales, it's a good problem for them to have.
It's an interesting problem. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody saying we don't know where to market at this point because we've already hit something we didn't expect to hit so quick.
Right. I think they did hit it so quick because Xbox stumbled. But...
Yeah,
all right.
but-
Next up, this is all Brett. I'll let you take it away.
So, interesting developments that happened yesterday, day before, since we record this little cast of pods on Friday. Uh, Something interesting in the Minecraft world. As many people may be aware or may not be aware, Minecraft for the PC is going to be updating to the 1.8 version pretty soon. I believe the full update's coming next week, but a pre-release update is already happened by the time you're listening to this. But that's not exactly what the crux of this issue is. The crux of this issue is Bucket. And what is Bucket? Bucket is the server API that almost all Minecraft servers use Bucket as a thing that allows their servers to be multiplayer and allows other users to connect and play. What is going on with Bucket is that the head guy at Bucket, Evil Seraph, or I believe that's his name, he decided that he didn't feel Bucket fell into the Minecraft EULA changes that have been happening, and Minecraft has started instilling EULA changes to where they want to stop out pay-to-win servers and whatever, and like they're gonna more hard enforce that. So the guy behind Bucket was like, or currently behind Bucket was like, I'm going to shut the entire project down. It's going to be completely shut down. We're not going to update to 1.8. It's been a good run, but no. And to that, Mojang immediately responded and reminded everyone that, oh wait, Mojang has owned Bucket for years. This guy has no right to say he can just end the project. Because a couple years ago, Mojang bought Bucket and hired on a bunch of the people who worked at Bucket onto their actual staff to help make Minecraft better. So
It sounds like the guy from Bucket just kind of went full retard to me.
a little bit, and the guy from Bucket was like, well, like I just don't feel it. Like it's been harder to work on it since a lot of Bucket is done voluntarily. Like it's a voluntary kind of work on it thing, and it seems like the guy behind it is just kind of not. It doesn't have his full heart into it anymore, to be honest.
Which is understandable.
I mean, it's been around for a while. And also, 1.8 is adding a lot of stuff, and it's going to take a lot of work to get changed in.
It is, but
So, I think it's interesting that
it is very
somebody would just screw it, I'm done.
Yeah, and here I am trying to pull up the tweets from Jeb, who is the current like head guy at Bucket, and he's like, he's
Jeb's actually Bucket?
no, I mean head guy at Mojang. Sorry,
Yeah.
Evil
Okay.
Seth.
I was gonna say
Evil Seth
Yeah, okay, I
is
was gonna
currently
say.
the head guy at Bucket, and Jeb has responded to Evil Seth over Twitter saying, Warren over at Bucket seems to have forgotten that the project was bought by Mojang over 2 years ago, and is not his to discontinue. Bucket has always had a special relationship in regards to things such as the EULA, and if Warren is bored, we need to do something. This is not a joke, we dug up the receipt just to be sure.
Oh, wow.
That's a perfect response.
Yeah,
That is.
Evil Seth then was like, yes, Mojang does own Bucket. Them acquiring us was a condition to being hired. If Mojang wants to continue Bucket, we're all for it. Alright, he's all for it.
So he basically gave in immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can't say anything that you've been bought out. You can't stop this.
Especially to Mojang. Mojang's so powerful now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Dinnerbone, who actually was one of the original creators of Bucket that got hired on to Mojang and is now currently working as a programmer over at Mojang, made a response to all this saying, I started Bucket, I'm going to personally see it through for a 1.8 update, updating it now. To be clear, Mojang owns Bucket. I am personally going to update the Bucket to 1.8 myself. Bucket is not and will not be the official API. And what that means is Mojang has their own in-house server API that they've been working on for a while now. But Dinnerbone is going to make sure that Bucket gets updated at 1.8. As to updates after 1.8, unsure, but it's good to see that Bucket will still be supported through 1.8, because Evil Seth making this announcement like the week before 1.8 is going to go live that, hey, we're not going to update shit, that's kind of like, wow, what the hell, dude. So this is good for me as I run a Minecraft server.
Good for everyone.
And yeah, everyone who runs a Minecraft server though is going to be updated too. So it's kind of
a very
crazy.
odd story.
Yeah. It's like, and like the crux of it is he felt that they didn't meet the EULA of like what they were going to do, and Mojang's going to hard enforce them. It's like, Mojang bought you. I'm surprised you forgot that. You should know you kind of come with special privileges, dude. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very, very strange story. So let's move on.
We'll see how that comes out. In the later.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it's just going to be a fluke story eventually.
Oh, and it's a fun thing. They've now officially named the 1.8 update the Bountiful Update because of all the things that's being added in it and all the different changes that is coming to Minecraft.
It's a very long list.
It is a very long list. And it's a list
Let's
that I'm
go
very
through
excited
each of
to
them.
see. No, we're not going to go through each of them.
No.
Yeah, I have actually seen that list before. It's pretty massive.
Yeah,
Let's move on. Last topic. Another Microsoft one. Microsoft loves being in the news, so get used to this. Sony and Nintendo don't as much. Microsoft loves it. And this has to do with graphics. Blizzard came out and said Diablo released this past week for consoles. It'll be last week for you listening. And Diablo 3 is apparently 10 times better on next-gen consoles than even PC, which I find incredible, but almost every review says that, so I'll take their word for it. I'll probably get it once it drops in price a little, but Blizzard came out and said that
Wait,
they originally were
going
going
to...
Looks-wise. It was
That's also
originally...
gameplay.
No, both.
Gameplay is the big thing. They say
Yeah.
it plays like it should have been on console the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Looks-wise
look-
is kind of bullshit.
nothing-
Because
Yeah,
the PC
looks
can't...
magic.
it's all gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have clarified that because this is a graphic story. Blizzard came out and said that the game was 900p, and then Phil Spencer just magically waltzed into the room and demanded 1080, and bam, it happened. That's what people are saying about this. Microsoft came out and said that we encourage companies to get the most out of their games on their console. We would never force them to update their graphics to match 1080 to match a PS4, although it does, and it looks great from what I've seen. And people on the internet were just like, oh, Microsoft, they're such bullies, and I don't...
People.
I don't think this is a big story. I just don't see it as a big deal at all.
So
I don't-
the story is that Microsoft, like, Blizzard was making their game run at a higher resolution, and it was like, Microsoft's like, no, take it down?
No, they were going to make it run at 900.
They were running 900,
It's
and then
gonna be
Microsoft came
upscaled.
out with that GPU update back in June or July, and they said, hey, you can get 1080, you can do this, let's do it. And they're like, okay. Then it was magically 1080.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. It's kind of like,
No, it's a good thing.
let's get more bang for our buck here, guys, on the console.
Exactly.
Because the PCs probably would be able to run that regardless.
Well, if you have a good enough PC, you can run 4K anything if it's supported, but
Yeah.
Well,
it requires a
but
monster.
I mean, like, that just sounds like Microsoft's like, okay, we really want to get the most bang for our buck here. could you try bumping the console port up a bit?
Right, that's how I see it too.
Yeah.
That's how most rational people see it. But this was the biggest news story for the past like 2 or 3 days because everybody was just like, "Oh, this is Microsoft bullying developers again."
And it's funny because everybody, like, everything that we ever saw was, like, when these consoles were releasing was that, like, the first things announced was, like, Dead Rising was going to run at, like,
Oh my
720.
god, I'm so sick of articles about frame rate and graphics.
And everybody was saying PS4 is better because their games are going to run at 1080. Now that a company is trying to get developers to put the games in 1080, not even trying to tell them, it's just like, hey, you can do this now. People are pissed off saying they're bullying them. It's like, really? You're freaking bipolar at this point.
Because people look to argue with
And-
anything, whether it's good or bad.
It's the same people that will argue like, "Oh, the Xbox One sucks," and then the Xbox One gets an update, and they're like, "Oh, look at this, you should shitty update," and it's just like, you're telling them their console sucks, and then you're complaining when they update it. I don't understand this.
Well, also,
Welcome to the internet.
I hate the internet.
wasn't there just like a couple weeks ago, like somebody found out that Killzone actually didn't run in 1080, like they said, it was 900 upscaled,
We should bring that up.
Everybody was pissed.
No,
Like,
no
you
one
can-
was that pissed. No one was that pissed except for this one guy. So it came.
It's kind of like a black game.
Yeah,
Well, that's not the point. It's the graphical thing that we're getting.
So the
on
story
now.
on that, I remember the story very well. The story goes, Sony has been advertising Killzone as 1080 this entire time. It's been out for almost a year now. It came out on launch. And they've been saying 1080, 1080, 1080, and everybody's like, "Oh, this looks great, 1080, yay!" Some guy actually went through and realized that it's not all 1080, only the some of the almost all the multiplayer is 900, and the biggest thing that are 1080 are all cutscenes, and then the rest is just upscaled. So this guy's like, "I didn't get what I paid for," so he's suing Sony for $15 million. Because it's upscaled 900 instead of 1080. And I don't know if I've ever facepalmed so hard in my entire life.
That is a great story. It's like, really, you're going to complain about that?
Well, he technically has a case.
Technically does.
Because
should he have brought that up? No.
Because he wasn't buying the product as advertised, or like, because they
Yeah,
were
I mean, he
advertising.
has a
1080.
There's
case.
a
If he
legit
gets
in there.
$15 million,
He's not getting
buying a
15.
$60
No, he's not gonna
game,
get
He's not
15.
getting
He's not
15.
gonna get $15 million. I doubt he's gonna get anything other than a settle out of court for nothing, because
Here's
Sony's
$5
lawyers
grand,
are
shut the hell
probably better than you.
Yeah, a lot better.
Yeah, some random guy. Like,
But
oh my
it's
God,
just
that
funny
story.
because people are so mad about resolution, and to me, resolution doesn't matter.
No.
I played games,
I can
PlayStation 1,
barely
360,
tell half the time.
900, 1080. I don't see a difference. I
720,
really don't.
720 to 1080, I can't really see a difference.
I can't either. So, and I play
I mean,
on a
I can
massive
see a little
TV, and I can't really see it.
I mean, think about Destiny. Destiny was 900. The Destiny beta was 900, and that game looks stunning.
That was amazing.
That
I
game
even-
looks stunning.
I love the look of Dead Rising 3, and it's 720. So, I really don't
love
care.
the look of Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, and it's 480. But
Yeah, I mean,
I-
like something looking good is more dependent on the art
The art
style
style,
and how
yeah.
like everything works together instead of like how resolutioned it is. I mean, you can resolution a turd to 1080p. It's still gonna look like a turd.
Be nice and crisp though.
Except you can.
But if you get the
can
right
see-
lighting
you can
and
see
shading
the, you
on
can see
it,
the
yeah.
details of the corn and the
yeah.
poo.
Okay then. That's what
Okay, so we have devolved into poo topics.
Yeah.
That
But,
didn't take. I thought that would take us at least
Wait,
5
we weren't
episodes.
talking about
but
poo topics before? What?
I thought that's what this thing was based on. I got confused.
Okay, we're changing name. Lords of Poo.
You heard
Lords of Laggy Poo.
it first time here.
Laggy
Official.
poo. There's nothing worse than a laggy poo.
Oh god. Well, we just broke
I'm having
bread.
connections issues between my ass and the bowl.
Damn host migration.
I just
Oh,
found the,
God.
I just found the name
I don't wanna
of
go how
this
that works.
episode.
Oh,
Lords of Lag
God damn
Podcast
it.
2, Laggy Poo.
God. God, that went south so quick.
Okay, let's
Jesus.
let's
And you
hurry
thought
up and
this
talk
wasn't
about
gonna
what
be a
we
good topic.
let's hurry up and talk about what we've been playing this week so we can end this before it gets worse.
Yeah. Please
Okay,
do.
Fred, what have you been playing?
I have been playing several things in relation to my Cuckles Plays series that I do on this very channel, which you're watching this on. I've been playing a lot more of Tomb Raider, surprisingly, the first one, and that game is still really fun. It's a really good, solid action adventure game, and it's really getting interesting. If you go look for it on Cuckles Plays, I already have several episodes of it out. I recorded a shit ton more of them, and Tomb Raider is really fun. Other than that, I've been continuing to break my Skyrim. Currently, Skyrim is in a completely broken state that I have to fix again. So I haven't exactly been playing it much, more technically working on it.
Explains why your game hasn't been popping up on my screen as much.
Yeah. And then other than that, I've started recording on a new series for Cuckles Plays where I'm going to be playing through Mass Effect.
First one?
The first one, the second one, the third one. I'm going through the
Oh,
entire, all three
Mm.
games.
You're beating the Mass Effect HD trilogy that will eventually come to next-gen consoles, probably.
I've already quick started that because I found a mod for Mass Effect on the PC that gives up-res textures to everything in Mass Effect 1. So it looks a lot better now. It still is the same old gameplay, but it looks a lot better.
Too bad you can't fix that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just careful
kind
what
of
you've been
like
playing.
Mass Effect 1's gameplay a little bit. I'm not going to
Or
fully
actu-
defend it because it has problems, but I like it.
I shouldn't cut you off there. You've probably been playing more than that.
No, that's kind of
He's
it.
probably just been spending his time fixing Skyrim at this point.
It's been Skyrim, Tomb Raider, and Mass Effect.
I have seen a ton of articles lately about, oh, check out the Skyrim mod. I've seen a ton of those recently.
Skyrim mods are highly popular.
Skyrim mods are still being worked on. Skyrim is not going away very fast.
I've seen like 3 articles in the last week about Skyrim mods.
They're great.
Well, you think about it, Skyrim is going to be around for... It's probably a 6-year game before they make the Elder Scrolls 6.
Just
So
at the rate Fallout's going, yeah, it better be.
As a quick little thing, on the Skyrim Nexus, which is like kind of the main hub for Skyrim mods, there's over like 200,000 different mods on there for just Skyrim.
Damn.
And compare that with other Nexuses for other games. Like, other games get maybe 10 mods for them posted up. It's like, Skyrim is ridiculous. People are going nuts creating so many things for Skyrim.
Yeah. That's like one thing I do love about PC gaming. The one thing I don't like not having on my console is the ability to mod. Sad.
Right.
Anyway, what have you been playing, Jared?
Still playing Halo 3. Kind of been hacked. There's been hackers like crazy, so haven't been doing it too much. Biggest thing is Fusion, Trials Fusion. Got all of my challenges done today, actually, as we're recording this. Did it a few hours ago. The new DLC came out. I love it. I love the extreme track. I'm going to be highly addicted to that and going for platinum on it. Skill game is fun too. We were top 10 for a while there. It was awesome. But that's pretty much all I've really been doing. It's just those 2 games. Jumping on Minecraft every now and then, but yeah.
So, for me, as always, I jump on Hearthstone every day. I'm back in my dorm now, so I'm going to be playing a lot more multiplayer games, but the past week I did Trials Fusion. I was number 1 in the world for a very long time on that new skill game, which is incredible. And I also got every achievement and challenge done in that game as well the past week, so Trials has been dominated. And I beat Guacamelee, which I still highly recommend. The last boss fight in that game, though, is so ridiculous. It took me legitimately about 20 tries. It was bad. But last boss fight was insane, but I recommend it. So, Trials, Guacamelee, get my thumbs up, and Hearthstone, of course. So, anything anyone wants to say before we log off?
Fallout
John
4,
here to
please
say,
come here.
Yeah.
Please.
So
Get
much
behind that.
laggy poo.
Okay, ended on that. Ended on that.
Yeah.